Yo, what is good, YouTube? Welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we're going to try something, and that is content predictions for this week here at NBA 2K25 MyTEAM. Basically, what we're getting this Friday. I'm going to try to predict it, and we're going to see how many of these cards that I get right. Now, this is kind of a shot in the dark, especially this early in the year. There are so many players that have not gotten cards yet, and so many potential cards coming in the near future that I'm basically totally guessing. But I'm going to share the reasoning for the guys that I did pick in this video. We're going to see if any of them wind up coming true, because it's totally possible I don't get a single of these names right. But we're going to give it a shot. With that being said, before we hop into the video, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 30,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I upload every single day. Would really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe. Yes, I know to many of y'all this might seem like a bit of a pointless video, and maybe it is. Evan Tanaka suggested that I make it, though. And so shout out to Evan for the idea. And here we are. This might literally be a one-week thing. It'll depend on if y'all enjoy this video or not. But we are going to give it a shot. So without further ado, let's hop right into it. I got 2KDB pulled up so that we can look at what these guys, if they did get cards, could potentially look like based on their 2K24 cards. Obviously, as y'all watch this video Thursday morning, leaks will be coming out here later this afternoon. So obviously we'll know then what cards we are actually getting, and I'll make a video then talking about all that content. That video will probably be a lot more quote unquote useful, but this is an interesting video. I just want to throw it out there and see how it does and see how many of these players, if any, we get right. With that being said, I'm going to start by throwing out some names. I got 6-7 names or so of players that I think could get lower tier cards. Just names of players that I think could potentially get cards. And then we will move on eventually to our top 3 choices, basically 2 headlining diamonds and a pink diamond headliner that I think we may get. Basically just like the full throttle drop from last week went. Now, the lower tier cards, just as we look at the full throttle drop, last week they were all diamonds. Hopefully we get some cards in this drop that are below diamond, so it is not literally just a diamond and up drop. But like I said, I am predicting 2 headliner diamonds as well as a headliner pink diamond for this next week's drop. And then obviously I've got some names that are similar to this and that they're filler cards for this week's drop. So the first of those names is actually a Roy Hibert card, and I think let's just assume that we get diamond cards similar to the way that this first week the full throttle drop went, where they're all diamonds. We're going to compare them as if they were diamonds. We got in 2K24 a pink diamond Roy Hibert. In 2K23 we did get a diamond Roy Hibert who could kind of shoot, and obviously ruby Roy Hibert could not at all. In 2K24 we get the pink diamond Roy Hibert who again could kind of shoot but not really. His sapphire also could not shoot at all. But with that being said, I think if we were to get a diamond Roy Hibert, you're looking at a mid-60s 3-ball on a 7'2" big. I'm not expecting him to have 81 speed in Season 1 by any means, but you might be looking at 50 speed. And as a true, pure inside big, he could be a semi-competent card, if nothing else. Probably not a card you're looking at as the best card ever or anything like that, but it's a name of a guy who I think makes sense as a Season 1 inside big who can technically hit a wide open 3, and he's the type of name that I could definitely see getting a lower tier card. Another guy who always gets a lower tier card in my team is Reggie Theus. Always tends to get cards throughout the year, at least 1 or 2. Last year he only got the 1 card, which is this pink diamond card from Stratosphere, but in past 2Ks I would say he's probably gotten a couple of cards, and he's always due for a lower tier card here and a lower tier card there. Got 1 or 2 cards in 2K23 as well, so that's a name of a guy that I think could definitely get a card as well. And the thing about Reggie Theus is if he were to get a card that was point guard eligible even early in the year at 6'5", 6'6", he could be an incredible quote-unquote budget-ish PG, although he would not be budget. He would be pretty expensive, I think. And maybe it's a little too early in the year for a point guard of size like Reggie Theus, and if so, that is very possible, but I just think there's the potential for a lower-tier Reggie Theus card that could be a super solid budget-ish point guard, although I would think he won't be super affordable if he is 6'5", 6'6", which I think in the past he's been 6'5". This year he's 6'6". Actually, he was 6'7" in 2K23, so never mind. Reggie Theus might not be the best guess just because of his height, but I could see him as like a historic player getting some sort of lower tier card. Another guy who actually got a card really early in 2K24 that was a super solid budget card was Matt Barnes. He also got a pink diamond later in the year, a free pink diamond, but very early in the year he got this emerald card in 2K24 that was basically a pure 3&D, but with semi-decent speed and, again, a little bit of defensive ability. This card was not day one, but he was week one of 2K23 or 2K24, and if he were to get a card that was potentially a diamond and had maybe mid to low 80 speed, like 82 speed, 86 3 ball, 84 interior, 85 perimeter, 80 steal, 80 like 70 block. That's a really good versatile defender who'd be able to hit the 3 ball at a high level, have solid enough speed, and if you give him a decent agility rating as well, maybe like a high 80s agility, you're looking at a guy who's an elite lock, elite shooter, fast release, and potentially some decent athletic ability as well. Could be a very solid sleeper type card early in my team. And that's a card that I would be personally very interested in as like a 3&D. Again, budget-ish card. It probably wouldn't be insanely expensive, but could play the 3 at a very high level, provide a lot of defense and decent size, and again, a very nice release as well. So Matt Barnes would be a cool historic player to get, and probably a very solid one as well. Next name on my list is a diamond or something along those lines, David West, who did get an amethyst in Season 3 last year, and this is probably pretty similar to what a David West card would look like if we got one. David West would be one of those guys, yes, he's only 6'9", 7'4" wingspan, makes a lot of sense, though, as a power forward center to get early in the year, just like we got Cliff Robinson, Alperen Sengun last week, a guy who may have semi-decent speed, like high 70s to 80 speed, about an 83 ball, decent but not elite athletic ability, and a little bit of defense, at least on the interior. Could be a very solid card. If we were to get a diamond David West that looked similar stat and badge wise to this card right here with some solid interior ability, not awful defensive ability on the perimeter either, the ability to stretch the floor a bit, and solid inside finishing ability with a little bit of athletic ability and a solid post game, you'd be looking at a card that's really interesting as like a small ball-ish 5 early in the year to play the center position at a very high level, for probably, again, a relatively affordable price. Because even if we do get an all-diamond drop, there's going to be some of them that are pretty affordable, and there could be some really solid cards, just like we got Cliff Haagen, Jerome Kersey, MLCar, guys like that aren't exceedingly expensive right now in my team in that first full throttle drop. These are the types of names that I think would be really interesting. Again, guys like David West, Matt Barnes, Reggie Theus, players like that could be super duper interesting as like budget-ish cards who wouldn't be super affordable but be solid. Next name, I'm pulling this one out of my butt, but this is just a historic name, Cliff Haagen. I don't know why I picked Cliff Haagen, but I'm picking Cliff Haagen. Just a random historic name. Always seems to get some sort of card. 2K23, he got a card. Maybe it was 2K22. Early in the year, he did get a card in 2K23 as well, but it was later in the year. It was an all-star card. Was it 2K22 where Cliff Haagen got a diamond early in the year? Or maybe it was even 2K21. 2K22, he did have an Ascension reward in December. Maybe it was 2K21 where he had the diamond. But I think it actually was 2K21 where he had a diamond. Yes, this Season of Giving Cliff Haagen was the first card in the game with Hoff range extender. Now, I know that's a long time ago at this point, but that was or maybe he wasn't the first at that point, or maybe he was. I don't even remember. At this point, it's been a long time since 2K21, but I remember Cliff Haagen getting cards and being able, or maybe it was 21, I don't even know. Regardless, very good shooter, decent speed, one of those guys who tends to get a card every single year, and if you were to get a card especially earlier in the year that would be a great shooter, it makes sense as like a sniper card with a little bit of perimeter defense as well, potentially. Again, probably not the greatest card in the history of my team or anything like that, but a Cliff Haagen card could be a very solid card. And while I think he'd probably wind up being one of the worst diamonds or worst cards in the set, there's always one or two guys like that aren't huge names and aren't super exciting, and he's one of those who kind of makes sense for that. Keeping on the shooting guard topic, Ray Allen makes sense as an early game card. Always gets a card relatively early. He didn't get a card till December last year. Did he get a card earlier than that in 2K23? I honestly don't remember at this point. He got a Season 2 glitched pink diamond in 2K23, so that was a November card as well. A Ray Allen, and not a glitched Ray Allen likely because that's not going to happen, but a Ray Allen card who just has decent athletic ability and can kind of compete would be super solid. Because that's the thing, Ray Allen, especially young Ray Allen, was pretty athletic. Really good release. I feel like he always gets good cards, but gets good cards too late in the year, to the point where they're not good anymore and they're not really worth using. So it'd be nice to get a Ray Allen card early in the year at a point where he is actually one of the best shooting guards in the game. And if he has enough defense, where he has mid 70s interior and mid 80s perimeter, you're looking at a card that could actually compete. And if he gets solid defense and decent enough slashing to combine obviously with elite level shooting, you're looking at a guy who might be one of the best small shooting guards in the game, especially earlier in the year where his height at only 6'5" doesn't wind up being as much of an issue. So I would like a Ray Allen card. An early in the year Ray Allen card is something we haven't gotten in a couple of years, and I think it's a card that'd be a very, very nice card to get and a very, very solid option at the shooting guard position. And for a guy like Ray Allen, who hasn't truly been super relevant in my team the last few years, besides his free Dark Matter free Galaxy Opal in 2K23, which was a pretty relevant free card, this card right here. But outside of that, I don't feel like Ray Allen's been super relevant in my team the last few years. This would be, I think, a great time to get a Ray Allen card, and a very, very solid card at that. I'm spending a lot of time on these cards, and it's all hypotheticals as well. Next up, we got Paulo Monero. Has not gotten a card in 2K24. I do believe he had like a lock-in Ruby really early, and then he got this card in Season 4 that was an absolute beast. Paul's one of those guys. At this point in the year, he'd be a power forward center, but again, he's kind of similar vein to a David West, where he would have a little bit of speed. And didn't he get a card in 2K23, a diamond early in the year, actually? I feel like that was like a Season 1 card that he got. It was a emerald, it was a sapphire, but it evoed the diamond. If we were to get a card like this, about 80 speed, about 83 ball, super athletic, not amazing defense, but again, if you add a couple defensive badges, you could work with that. I loved this card early in 2K23. I don't remember if y'all remember this card, but for those of y'all who played 2K23 my team early in the game, y'all probably remember this card too. He played on my team for a while. He was really, really solid as an athlete who had a nice release, good speed, small ball 5, very, very solid at 6'10". Early in the year, Paulo Monero is always a fun card with athletic ability, a little bit of ability to shoot the ball and stretch the floor, has a solid release, all that type of stuff. And I think Apollo would be a super fun, super nice card to get as well. With that being said, that's all the filler names type cards that I have to suggest. Moving on to the guys who I think could get diamonds. And we're going to start with Scotty Pippen. I predict we get a Scotty Pippen card tomorrow. 2K23, we got a Scotty Pippen as the level 40. 2K24, we got a Scotty Pippen literally second Friday drop of the year, just like this. The first drop after the initial drop when the game came out was a Scotty Pippen card. I think this makes a lot of sense that we could get a drop with another Scotty Pippen card. He gets a card early in the year every single year, at least every single year the last couple of years. Even 2K22, he got a Amethyst card in early October. So he gets an early card every single year. Always seems due for that early card, and this year would be no different. A Diamond Scotty Pippen would just be a better version of this card, which means you're looking at potentially close to 90 speed, 83 ball, athletic, and versatile defensively. An absolutely elite small forward, especially early in the year, would start for a lot of people and probably be a pretty expensive card, but a very, very good one at that. And Scotty Pippen is always a guy who gets a card early in the year, so it makes a lot of sense. Another guy who is pretty much guaranteed to get a card in the first month of the game, and it would not surprise me if he got one here this early, is Anthony Davis. He got a Showtime card last year, I think on the second or third the third drop of the year, the week after we got Scotty Pippen, and it was about 72 speed, 74 3 ball. He has an Amethyst card this year as well that's pretty similar statistically to this, slightly worse, but about the same. If we were to get a Diamond AD with a little closer to 80 speed, a little closer to an 83 ball, still having that elite defense and solid athletic ability, and you're looking at a guy who would challenge for best center in the game. Like, I think he would give a guy like Şengün a run for his money for sure, especially since he gives you a little more defensive ability to stop potentially the Wilts of the world. Maybe it's wishful thinking for me, but I would love an AD card. He's always good in my team, and I think he'd be an absolute beast right now. So that's my other prediction. And then the prediction for my pink diamond is going to be Luca Doncic. Is it a little early to get a Luca? Yes. Do I think that will stop 2K this year? Not really. Would I be shocked if we got a Luca that is not point guard eligible, like a pink diamond Luca that is a shooting guard small forward, similar to this Dunktober Luca that we got last year? No, it would not shock me. but I woun't be entirely stunned to see them drop a point guard eligible Luca early in the year as well, especially if he's slow and has no defense. Maybe I'm wrong. They haven't done it in a couple of years for sure since we've gotten a point guard eligible Luca early in the game. In fact, I'm not sure if they've ever gotten a super early point guard eligible Luca, but I think we get a Pink Diamond Luca tomorrow. Whether he's point guard eligible, that's up in the air. But he's my favorite player, so maybe this is wishful thinking. But I think a Pink Diamond Luca would be cool early in the year. And again, he's never insane early in the year in my team. Doesn't have the greatest release. His SIGs are definitely better this year than they've been the last couple of years, so that would help him. But I do think still you'd look at a card with probably a slight lack of speed, probably about an 80 speed, even on his Pink Diamond. I mean, defensively, you'd be looking at high 70s realistically at best on the perimeter, maybe an 80. Not insanely athletic, but elite shooter, solid playmaker, better SIGs this year. Would be a fun card, would be a good card. And maybe it's wishful thinking by me just wanting a good Luca card early in the year, but that is going to be my prediction for the Pink Diamond. I don't know if I needed to make a 15-minute video on these hypothetical predictions. So again, if y'all enjoyed the video, I appreciate it. If not, I get it. We'll see how this video does. May or may not do this again. It's just a hypothetical, trying it out. So wanted to give this video a try and see how it does and see what y'all's thoughts are. So let me know in the comment section down below who you predict for this week's content drop and who's coming out tomorrow. And I guess we'll all find out here in just a little bit with leaks. So hope y'all did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.